We all know unit tests are a great tool for quality assurance. We all know unit tests should be small and simple. But there is this one thing which can easily ruin all the efforts we have put into our unit tests, and this is members. This is the design of a document viewer application which can render various documents. It contains of different document types representing the content to be rendered. A presentation describing how the content should be rendered, various canvas a document can be rendered to, and finally the view which is doing the actual rendering. And here are some of the unit tests for the view type. For the sake of simplicity, I kept those short. In reality, there would be much more tests, of course. We easily realize that all test cases are small and simple. Details are factored out into the test setup, an approach which is even suggested by many unit test frameworks. So far, so good. Now imagine we want to add one more test case which has pretty similar setup. This test case tests the behavior of the view when the document passed is empty. Let's run the test case. And it is green, but suddenly something unexpected happens. When we run all the test cases, one of the already existing test cases starts failing. What happened? It turns out that clearing the document in the new test case has side effects to other test cases, as those changes are neither reverted in the teardown nor are the documents reinitialized in the setup. Let's fix our test cases by ensuring that all members are initialized in the setup. If we now rerun all the test cases, we will see that they are green again. At this point, we might develop a little doubt regarding our test design. This time we were lucky. The side effect was causing a red test case, which is easily detected. But what if an unwanted side effect causes a test to be green for the wrong reason? And the more members we have and the longer the setup becomes, the more this design might become a severe issue. But for the time being, we decide to keep it as it is. Sometime later in the project, a change is requested. A canvas should always have a background, black or white. So we implement the change and of course we add additional tests. Now we also have to set a background for our existing test cases. In our current design, the easiest way seems to be to set it in the test setup globally. But which color should we use? Black or white? The decision will impact all the test cases. Let's just decide for black and fix all failing test cases. So let's run all our test cases. And some of them are failing, as expected. So let's see what is the problem. Looks like the detection whether the bitmap is empty does not work any longer. So how is it implemented? Previously it was checking whether there is no color at all. We should now probably check for the background color, black in this case. And let's just run the test cases again. Great, all test cases are green again. Oh, but let's look at this test case here. Reading the comment and checking how it is implemented, we realize it would always be green, no matter whether the view successfully rendered the document or not, because as the background is black, there will always be sufficient black in the image to make the test case green. This time we were lucky detecting this issue, but the more test cases we have, the less lucky we might be. Let's fix this test case by setting the background of the canvas to white. Now it is green for the right reason again. At this point we have to realize, even though members and test setups seem to be a convenient tool to get small and simple looking test cases, such a design can easily lead to hidden complexity. Members and a single global setup can create dependencies between test cases and so cause unwanted side effects, and this definitely impacts simplicity. So let's refactor our design and remove the members altogether. First, we split the setup into smaller factory methods. For the documents, we don't have to create another factory method because creating a document is already just a one-liner. Now we will use these factory methods in the test cases directly and remove the test setup. Doing so, we realize that we actually only use one document at the moment. And finally, we can remove the members completely. After these refactoring steps, we can now handle the canvas background in a cleaner way. As we already realized that this could be a breaking change, we decide that each test case should specify the canvas background explicitly. So let's change this. Now that all the code compiles again, we now remove this workaround here. The first round of refactoring definitely made our tests longer, so let's have another round to get these test cases smaller again. So this test case actually doesn't need a presentation at all. So now we got our test cases a little bit smaller again, but still the new design makes the test cases slightly longer. But this is for the benefit of test case independence. As we have no members anymore, side effects through shared state are impossible now. Test case specific setups instead of global setups make it easier to reason about the possible impact of a change on a particular test case. We could now apply some further refactoring to get our tests even smaller, for example, by adding factory methods for specific use cases like create presentation with a given document or create presentation with an empty document. We could even consider moving certain factory methods into factory classes or even builders. But for now, we will keep it as it is. A word on unit test base classes. This snowflake here shows the inheritance hierarchy between unit tests in a large project I was working in. Having seen that members in a unit test can have severe impact on simplicity and so on changeability of the unit tests, it should be obvious that test-based classes simply make it worse. Test-based classes tend to accumulate many members. If it would only about sharing factory methods, why using base classes in the first place? And these base classes would so not only create dependencies between test cases of a single test fixture, but would even create dependencies between multiple test fixtures. So from changeability and maintainability perspective, it is highly recommended to not use test-based classes at all. That's it for today. We have seen that keeping unit test cases independent is an important quality and that it is easier to achieve this without members. And if you are now interested in how to make your unit tests even more effective, then watch this video now.